Ladies and gentlemen, citizens of Gdansk and curious souls around the globe, welcome to Gdzień Gdobry Gdańsk, Poland's most cultural guide that isn't too hung up on accuracy.
In the green corner, standing tall, armed with Irish wit and way too many opinions, the Celtic philosopher of Gdansk, Mannix the Mighty.
In the gold corner, hailing from the sun-soaked streets of California, the dancing diplomat of Gdansk himself, it's Carlo, El Capybara.
Together, we're two foreigners, one city, and about 17 ways to mispronounce pierogi.
Pierogi.
Pierogi?
Pierogi?
Pierogi.
We're here to explore the quirks, culture, and glorious confusion of life in Poland, with curiosity, sarcasm, and just enough humility to stay out of trouble.
Each episode, we dive into everyday magic, from pierogi politics to linguistic gymnastics, and try to figure out what makes this city tick.
This isn't journalism, it's cultural anthropology with punchlines. This is Gdzień Gdobry Gdańsk.
Cheekiest cultural podcast Gdansk didn't ask for,
but might secretly enjoy.
Okay, so I was watching a film the other day.
Wait. Were you using subtitles or a lector?
Lector?
Yeah, it's part of the very fabric of Polish society, a lector.
Okay, so we got to break this down because lector maybe works for the Polish people, but lector totally destroys a film for anybody who doesn't have Polish as a first language.
You have a point. Is it only on TV or is it on the internet, where you're streaming shows, streaming movies, things like that?
Oh, well, no. I mean, on the internet, you're not really going to have Polish lector.
So what you're telling me is that TV is strictly lector versus the internet where you have a plethora of options, which begs the question, what would life be like without a computer?
Cold.
The dawn of the lector.
Cold.
Okay, well, I think these are really three good topics that we should dive into. So let's get into it. Tell me, Mannix, a little bit more about what a lector is and maybe the origins.
After the Second World War, this was something that was used basically across Soviet countries and countries within the sphere of Soviet control. There were three options: subtitles, dubbing, and voiceover. However, with the rise of popularity of television, it became a situation where there were only really two TV studios in Poland. They didn't have such a huge number of staff, and they certainly didn't have the budget and time to prepare subtitles, to prepare dubbing. So they went with the lowest common denominator, which was voiceover, polski lektor. And as a result, it became, as you say, a natural part of the fabric of Polish society, even to the point where when I presented a piece of movie to some colleagues of mine, and I said, what is the most Polish thing about this clip that we're watching?
To nie tędy. Nie wrzeszcz, wiem co robię. Tego nawet Bóg nie wie.
None of them actually connected to the fact that it was with a Polish voiceover. They thought it was the poor quality of Bruce Willis's driving or the fact that there were lots of traffic jams shown in the clip.
What about like romantic scenes and action scenes where they're, trying to invoke this emotion and you have just this stagnant voice?
You lose all the emotion and you can't hear what the original people are saying and you don't know what's happening in the story. Let me hear the emotion in the voice of the actors. The actors are actors because they're acting. Worst of all, it's the same voice for both males and females, so you're not even sure who's speaking anymore.
You have a point. So you have an opinion about it. I have an opinion about it. But what do the people of Gdańsk think about it?
Gdzień Gdobry Gdańsk. It's Mannix here in the streets of Gdansk, and we're asking people today, what is your favorite way
to watch a foreign movie? Do you prefer subtitles? Do you prefer dubbing?
It's subtitles all the time. For me as well. Original with subtitles.
My favorite way is watch with subtitle. Yeah.
I prefer to watch movies with subtitles.
I really prefer the original without translation. If it's Korean or Japanese, right? I need subtitles because I don't understand the language.
Sometimes when I'm lazy and I don't want to even read, I just like the dubbing. Fun fact, in Poland, we have Polish translator and only men, even for female roles. It's strange to me, to be honest.
What do you think of polski lektor in movies?
Unusual questions. I remember it's from my childhood.
But it's funny somehow when I'm thinking about the comedies and some kind of emotional moments. And this guy is very formal all the time, you know, like on the same level, like very like strict and things are happening on different levels, but he's staying the same.
I like them because there are a few popular lectures.
Depends which lector, because I don't mind Polish lectors overall. I think it's fine. However, some of the films that I watched with Polish lector, Polish translations are bad.
Sometimes when the movie sucks, I just use a Polish lector to not be super engaged, and I can do something else in the meantime.
Do you think that now in the 21st century maybe we can throw away polski lektor, stop making movies with polski lektor, we can focus the money that goes to polski lektor on subtitles or dubbing, or we should keep polski lektor?
I think no, we must keep polski lektor.
We should keep polski lektor, we should keep the polski narrator.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. Or better quality dubbing.
You said it.
Or do you think we should keep polski lektor because it's an integral piece of the fabric of Polish society?
I think we should only stay with Krystyna Czubówna in all movies.
Let's put them to the Google Maps. It's really like...
The vote is in.
It looks like we're going to have to keep Lecter.
And the subtitles.
And the dubbing.
Apparently they're favorites. Like
There
maybe
are favorites. People have their favorites.
So have these lectors have been lecturing for some time so that they become famous and become favorites?
I don't actually know.
And like, do they only get replaced when they die? Like,
it's my theory. You know, when a lector dies, they choose a person to deliver the eulogy at their funeral, and then that person becomes the new lector.
Whoever has the best eulogy takes his place. Okay, that might be. So maybe our viewers can maybe make a comment below and tell us, you know, if they know what the process is or how long the lector is a lector. Another good question would be
who is your favorite lector?
Yeah.
And then every other people can vote with thumbs up to say they agree with you. Yeah.
And is there like a wiki page for lectors where we can see who all the lectors have been in the past? Who knows? All right. Well, is it only on TV or is it on the internet, you know, where you're streaming shows, streaming movies, things like that?
Oh, well, no. I mean, on the internet, you're not really going to have Polish lector. On the internet, you're going to have essentially the original. Sometimes you may have it with Polish subtitles. And on some occasions, okay, if you're streaming from one of the Polish TV stations, you may be streaming something with a lector because they've got an original movie, for example, from the US or from the UK or from France or from Spain.
So what you're telling me is that TV is strictly lector, maybe some subtitles here and there, but always a lector if it's an international movie being played in Poland.
Well, I don't really watch that much TV at all anymore. There are one or two programs that I might tune in for, but generally I tend to live my life much more on the internet.
Yeah, exactly. And especially with the birth of the smart TV, where the internet is on your TV. So by definition, a television is no longer television that has your internet, has your streaming applications, it has your different social media platforms, all accessible on your television. So now you're no longer watching locally broadcasted channels, you're watching your subscription-based platforms that you pay for every single month, which is another topic in itself.
But then again, it's taking you one step further away from where you are. There's the streaming services and the streaming platforms that are coming to your TV. Very few of them are, for example, Gdansk based. Very few of them are local to the place that you find yourself. So you lose out on an information stream. You lose out on the ability to connect to your local area.
If you're moving to a new city or a new country, you would need that local support, local news, local events, things like that, so that you can begin to be connected to the community.
For a lot of people, that's, yeah, so what? We will just be a part of a universal society, and we don't need this local information. But for a lot of people to have this local information available, I think it's a huge plus.
Yeah, definitely.
To address a point you made earlier, for example, somebody who's only looking at world culture and international news, these people are not going to see, they're not going to know that there was a car crash that's going to give them an extra 30 minutes on their route to work in the morning. They're not going to know that, there might actually be a loud explosion coming from the direction of the sea because an unexploded mine from the Second World War has to be detonated. This is a thing. It's done safely. It's not in any way dangerous for us, but the noise could be
alarming.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you think TV should kind of start reverting back to the way television used to be?
I think TV probably needs to try to find its own niche. I have a feeling that a lot of people were perhaps unhappy with TV, people who maybe wanted to get into TV themselves, but certainly realized that, okay, here is an opportunity for me to do something that is educational, that is entertaining, and that can bridge a gap that TV is failing even to recognize. So, of course, we have the new idea of edutainment, and you have lots of famous bloggers, vloggers, and podcasters have carved out more than a niche for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And that, I think, has led in a major way to the disruption of TV, to create something that is much more personal,
yeah,
and much more direct than TV.
Yeah. Even being in movies where you had to know someone that knew someone to get an audition, it was very hard to become a star, whether it was on the small screen or the big screen. And it was a chosen few. The internet has opened up vast amount of opportunity for individuals to do it on their own, to be independent. You have independent news media now. You have independent podcasters, influencers, DIYers. I mean, you name the category, it's out there for you to watch. So I think internet has helped us in that way. But
redistributing the power?
Yeah, redistribution of that ability to be on the screen and have an audience of millions.
I suppose the 1960s really, 1950s, 1960s, TV comes in as the big disruptor, takes out radio, takes out newspapers, starts stealing more and more of the advertising revenue. And the result is that TV got to be the big boy until the internet came along. So TV doesn't really know what to do with itself because it's not the big boy anymore, but what is it? And it probably needs to focus on things where it can make a difference. And for example, more localized TV, perhaps TV just for Gdańsk, where you have a TV service that's dedicated to its localized population. How that will be paid for and how that will compete, well, again, it's time to try and find a niche that works.
Yeah, kind of reinvent itself again.
The choke point of all of this is the ability to stream at speed. And that may be where the rubber meets the road, and people start to call the shots on, okay, how fast or how slow are you willing to accept without paying more?
I'm not such a television person. I will watch a lot of streaming, pre-recorded videos, for example, on YouTube or a number of other different social media.
Which begs the question, what would life be like without a computer?
Life without a computer is, for me, it's like possibly life without oxygen, life without the ability to communicate.
Well, us being digital nomads too. I mean, we're foreigners in a country that's not originally our home. Well, the line of work that we're in, we rely heavily on computers, so our work would definitely be disrupted. We would definitely have to learn a different way for communication, to network, to find work, to perform that work. So I think it would cause cataclysmic chaos.
I also think that life without the internet would also involve life with a lot more books, because I think we have become reliant on the ability to just carry around so much information with us that we would actually want to have, I'll have 1, 2, 3 books with me, a book on whatever topic it is I'm working on at the moment, and possibly, I don't know, Polish English dictionaries or other, let's say, guides, maps, etc. for living in Gdańsk.
That's it for today's show. Thank you for coming along this journey with us.
If there's anything you'd like us to talk about, or if you have any stories about Gdańsk you'd like to share, let us know.
We're very grateful to Gdańsk itself for its stories and for being our new home.
We'd especially like to give a big shout out to our sponsors, because snacks and free drinks only get you so far. So thank you to Tucantu Language School, Bang Bang Boom Studio, who've done a lot of work on our website, and Green Gold Productions for producing our show. Thank you guys, thank you so much.
Thanks to Galleria Metropolia for giving us a semi-quiet place to record. Check out our blooper reel to see just how much fun we had making this episode.
This is Mannix.
And this is Carlo from Gdzień Gdobry Gdańsk, saying Gdziękuję and
Do zobaczenia.